Hi everyone, welcome back to my little knitting podcast. Let's just jump right in, shall we? Today is Monday, so happy Monday, and it's Monday, April 8th, I guess I should say. Okay, let's just get into it. So the first whip that I have, sorry, I ate breakfast, haven't brushed my teeth, of course is in my favorite project bag. You know, I talked to my stepmom and she doesn't think there's anything to be done about it. She's like, I just don't think that bag was meant to be used for every day. And I got to thinking about it. I'm like, why do we make stuff like that? Why would we make a bag to not be used? Anyway, she's right, I'm sure, but okay, my Musselburgh hat. I didn't make as much progress as I probably normally would have because of everything that was going on, but I made a decent amount, all things considered. I mean, we were busy, so I don't know. Oh, this stitch marker doesn't show up at all, does it? So right there is where I was, so that's how much I knitted. I have the big defining line right where my rows change. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get that to be better. Slowly but surely, I'm getting there. It's not quite there yet. There, show you the nicer side. Oh, doesn't that look pretty? Okay. So anyway, as you can see, the yellow is continuing to get bigger. I am getting decently close to the end where I start the decreases, because I left this little stitch marker in to show how far for the decreases, so I can make it roughly even. And so the other side's probably not going to be quite as yellow as I had originally imagined, but that's okay. It'll still be fun, and you know, it is what it is. You can wear mini stripe side or big stripe side, I guess, depending on his mood. It is coming along. I'm getting close to the decreases, like I said, and I don't know if I'll have this finished by next week. I guess it's possible, but we'll see. I don't know. If you can't hear anything, I'm a little bit stuffed up. A little bit nasally. I did get very sick this week, and I'm still recovering from it. Decided to come and do this anyway. So that also put I would be sitting there when I had knitting time and just be like, oh, I can't. I would fade and go to sleep. So yes, the Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teague has been, I've kept my notes behind the camera right over here, so that's why I'm going to be looking over here. It's been on my needles for 16 days. That's not too bad. That's pretty good. I am using the KFI collection kettle dyed yarn in Pumpkin and Sunshine. I'm sure you can figure out which is which. And yeah, like I said, not a ton of time to knit this week, and when it was very hard. It was so hard to knit this week. So maybe by the end, we'll see, because life is returning back to normal. I'll get to that. But so that's that. And the thistle blanket, you ask? You left us on such a cliffhanger before. I did show it to my dad and my stepmom, and there was a general consensus. The yarn is beautiful, the pattern is beautiful, and that pattern was originally designed for knitting for a shawl by Ruth Sorensen, but doesn't really go into the aesthetic of their new home that they've moved into. So I am frogging it. The yarn is going back into my stash, and I am going to go find some new yarn, which I have not yet. I don't know if I'll get to it this week. It might be next week, and go start a new project. They mentioned a couple colors that go along with the Scottish family that we are a part of. They're color tartan, and I did look it up. There are some plaid knitting patterns that I could try to modify to accommodate this clan's colors, but gosh, that makes me nervous. That makes me so nervous. So have you ever knit plaid before? Are there any good patterns for this? I'm terrified of this. So I'm gonna go look. If anything, I could use the colors and just make something pretty and it would be fine. But you know, it's just, okay, so it's kind of like this red wine color and this forest green color. I'm gonna look. So we'll see what happens. But if you have any great plaid suggestions, I would love it. So, oh, I'm wearing my Alpine Bloom shirt, and in teal and lotus in the Malabrigo, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. This is the second time I've worn it, but I still haven't blocked it. Haven't had time, haven't had the energy. So I have gotten the couple times, this is the second time I've worn it. So the first time I wore it, I did get compliments and people were very excited for me and very proud. And I am too. I am so excited and proud about this shirt, obviously. So, but someday I'll block it. I know it's gonna look better. It'll even out some of this rippling, even though it won't even out all of it. So, gosh, we'll see how long this lasts. My nose is starting to run and everything. So, thistle blanket, off the hook, frogged, yarn in stash, which kind of brings up that I have been watching AKA Nora Knits, and she's gonna do she's already started a spring stash bust. Most of it's gonna be on Instagram, which I'm not on, but you know, I can still kind of participate in that. And I was like, oh man, we're starting this stash bust thing and I'm adding a ton of yarn into my stash, which isn't huge, but I didn't really, that's not how you want to start that stuff out, right? By adding more in. So I was a little bit bummed about that, but that's the way it is. So, okay, so you say, well, how's your uptown tea going? It sure looks like, I know you can see it over here. It sure looks like it's big. Weren't you on the collar? Yeah. Let me tell you about the uptown tea. I love that pattern by, who's that by? Tori Yu. It's so cute and I cannot wait to make this t-shirt. But that pattern with the yarn that I chose and the color that I chose, well, the color was probably fine, but it just wasn't working. Mostly because of the yarn that I chose. I could tell as I was knitting it that I wasn't going to wear it. And I just kept sitting there going, why am I continuing with this? I know I'm taking a class on how to modify your shirts and sweaters and things. And I'm in my brain, I was like, just keep going. You need to do this for the class. Just keep going. It'll be fine. And then I kind of got real with myself. I was sitting there sick and all the energy I was putting into knitting and I'm just going, why am I putting this much energy into something I don't want to wear? This is insane. So I stopped, I frogged it. It's the week of frogging. There's frogs everywhere. They're falling from the sky. I frogged it and I just said, I'm not gonna put that much energy into it anymore. But I still like the yarn. It's different, but I still like the yarn. I like the color. the color goes with pretty much everything. So what am I gonna do with it? So instead of putting it into my stash, the yarn, where my heart would break even more because I'm adding even more yarn for stash brush string. It's like I'm doing it backwards. I'm doing it wrong. I just keep putting stuff in instead of taking stuff out. So I decided to cast something on. I'm pulling it out of stash. I'm not putting more in. So I have cast on the Flirt skirt. It's totally where your mind went, right? You were like, that's gonna be a skirt. So, obviously I'm not very far. The Flirt skirt by, oh no, Claire Jackson. And so far I think this is gonna be really cute. It's gonna be great. This is my first time ever for my knitting, adding something into my knitting that is not yarn. So inside here, I have an elastic band. I did take a picture of when I sewed the ends together. I might put that over here or over here. We'll see. Well, I have to look at the picture closer to see if you can even tell anything. But there's elastic in here now, and then it's joined, and then I'm knitting. And so yeah, this is a completely new cast on. It's been on my needles for 4 days. And I was so excited. I did not have the elastic in my house. I went to the store. My family left on Saturday, and I said, I'm going to the store because I need this elastic. I felt like garbage. I was in the height of feeling icky. It was pretty bad, but I said, I won't be able to knit on this project anymore if I don't have the elastic, because it was genuinely just like at a stopping point. You cannot go further without it. So I'm going to the store. So I made myself get out of my pajamas, because it was a pajamas day. It was rough, and go to the store. My husband, bless his heart, went with me because my brain was very fuzzy. And he went with me, and we picked up my elastic and went straight back home. Didn't look at anything, didn't look at yarn, just grabbed it and went. I did take my project with me because it does say in the pattern what size elastic to use, but like I said, my brain was fuzzy, and for the life of me, I could not find where it said that. And so I took my project with me so that I could hold up the elastic and see how wide it needed to be. Of course, as my brain fog cleared from the sickness, I did find what size elastic I needed, which isn't what I bought, but it ended up being okay. I think the size elastic was slightly bigger than what I ended up buying, and it would have been fine, but this works, and I'm not gonna be sad about it because it works. I do wish a little bit. She mentions in the pattern that if you wanted a thicker elastic band to obviously knit more so that it would go over the elastic band, but I was in a fog. I was in a sickness fog and didn't see that or think about it or anything. So it is what it is. So the elastic's in there, and of course it's curling because it's knit. And yeah, I think I made pretty decent progress. Most of this was done yesterday as my brain started to clear up a little bit because I slept the first part of the day. And yeah, there's a lot of stitch markers in here, and that is for a reason. That's in the pattern. So I don't know how much I should tell you. But it's there for a reason. And aren't all stitch markers there for a reason? That was such a silly comment to make. she does suggest, oh, I dropped a stitch. She does suggest it in the pattern. So the dangers of showing off your work. Oh no. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this yarn, I told you before, but just in case, this is the Malabrigo Sussurro, in the colorway Paris Night. And yeah, there we go. I got the stitch back on. I don't think it's quite on there properly, but I'll fix it later. And so it's been on my needles for 4 days. And like I said, yeah, the elastic was fun. It was, I don't know how, because I also was in a brain fog and the sewing machine was blowing my mind. So I hand sewed the elastic together. I guess we'll see if it holds. Disaster if it doesn't. So fingers crossed that in my brain fog, I stitched it enough. Ooh, fingers crossed. Okay, so yeah, my Flirt skirt, I am probably gonna make it longer than the pattern suggests, which obviously is, it's obviously fine no matter what the designer says, but the designer does say make it to the length that you're comfortable with, which I always appreciate. But anyway, so I'm probably gonna make it a little bit longer than just the mid-thigh, which is where the pattern has it go, because I'm more of a brush the knees kind of girl at shortest. Okay, so those are my works in progress. I don't have any finished objects, which is okay. This past week, that's just how it is. I don't have finished objects every week. Let's be real. That's not gonna happen. I did get an acquisition though. So I did order this long before I was gonna do the stash busting spring thing. I ordered this last month, mid-March, I would say. And this came, isn't it beautiful? So this is hand-dyed gradient yarn by Wool Elf. And the colorway is Peach Blush. And I think what I love, so this is 75% merino, 25% Malbeerseed. Oh, that's the German. She's from Germany. That was mulberry silk is the 25%. So anyway, excuse me, what I love about this is I could order several different yardages. You'll see here, she has marked what I ordered. And all of these little circles were different yardages that you could order. And then she dyes the gradient in that yardage. So if I need this much for a shirt, I have a single gradient. I don't have to get another skein and alternate or figure it out mathematically, because let's be real, my math skills are not great. It's all done for me, and isn't it beautiful? I just think it's really gonna be cute. And I have a tee in mind, the Circe, which I think is what I'm gonna change to for my shirt class. And now I just have to knit up a swatch. So I'm excited. I love how it really is just cream, goes out, you can't really see it. There's like a blush here, maybe a little bit. Cream, blush, and then it just gets pink and pinker and pinker until you get to this sort of dark blush. Wow, my descriptions today, I tell you what. Anyway, I think it's beautiful. It smells like sheep. It is soft, and I'm looking forward to working with this. So not sure when that's actually going to get on the needles. Ooh, I've got that class. I've got to try. So this is not normally here. My kids were playing. It was up there. I was like, I'm not going to move it. It's their big giant beanbag chair. All right, so moving on, the games. Gaming this weekend wasn't super big. I did have family in, so I could not make it to my Pathfinder game this weekend, or this past week. So I said, sorry, family's in town. That's just the way it is. Can't make it sometimes. So unfortunately, someone else couldn't make it, so the game was postponed. But good news for me, nothing happened, so I didn't miss anything. That game is going to be happening tonight. This is the game where I play the investigator Hydrangea Heatherfoot, investigator ranger. I'm very protective. She does have an animal companion, and I'm like, won't ever let the animal companion do anything because I can't have it die. So I don't know what to do with that. I just need to let it go. But so that game is actually happening tonight. We do stream it on Twitch. I don't, but the Dungeon Master does. And he goes by Pepperial on Twitch, which is spelled Pepperial. So that happens at I believe it's 6:30 Eastern time. So if you're interested, you're welcome to join us there, and it's on Twitch, Pepperial, and yeah, it's fun. So you could hear my poor attempts at some sort of accent. I originally was going for Irish, and I don't think it is at all. So it's just some weird thing that makes an appearance occasionally, not very often. The other game that I did get to play was last night, which is Tomb of Annihilation. And I didn't tell you this one before because we just hadn't gotten to it. This one is the Dungeon Master Zephiel, and we are, we're playing Tomb of Annihilation, which is a pre-written game. I play Gelaith, who is a wild magic surge barbarian, and she is an astral elf. So every once in a while she can cast a cantrip. I'm not entirely sure that my other players know that or remember that. I think I cast a cantrip once, but maybe I didn't. So I don't know if anybody remembers that. May come up at some point later. But anyway, so this last game, we traveled down, I don't know if you could hear that, my dog just did a big sigh. We traveled down into a mine to see a dragon. We all went down there because one of our other players is a kobold. Well, the player isn't. The character is a kobold, and obviously the kobold wanted to go and worship the dragon. And we were like, I guess so. And it was just entertaining because as we were playing, the player kept saying, you know, this is a really bad idea. My character thinks this is a great idea, but I'm just telling you all that this is a really bad idea. Anyway, we went down. Somehow we are a rough and tumble group, but we did not make any huge mistakes. We survived the dragon and we made it back up alive. And that was pretty much the entire game last night, was that. It was pretty tense at some moments, especially when it asked for offerings from the entire party, as I am not much of a hoarder of items, so I didn't have much to give other than what I was actually using. So I did end up having the DM sent me some grace, I think, and let me offer a potion of water breathing, so, which is a pretty good potion. But so I offered that to the dragon. And it was fun and it was silly, and yeah. That one is also streamed. That group is a little bit quieter, so it's a very calm, quiet group. And that one is streamed on Sundays by Maan on Twitch, and that is Maan. That is on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So, did I just say Saturdays? That is on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So, Maan, Maan on Twitch, if you're interested. If not, that's totally fine. All right, so moving on. Those were my games. I did not have my other game this week. I think I'll have it this upcoming week. But I do have a game tonight, so yay. Okay, so what am I watching? Well, I am watching all the things that I mentioned that I was watching before, also known as Nora Knits, obviously. Earth Tones Girl, Bakery Bears, Nitty Natty, or Love and Stitches. But I did just recently, I literally just found Fruity Knitting, which the production on this YouTube podcast is amazing. They're great. They are great. So I am hooked on that one now. I think they only do one once a month. But I tell you what, I thought I had kind of watched and muffled through at least seen all of the knitting podcasts that YouTube has to offer. Especially, excuse me, my throat's going, especially a really high quality good one. So I was shocked to find this Fruity Knitting. So if you know of any other great knitting podcasts, I would love to hear it, because I loved it. It was amazing. So yeah, Fruity Knitting, Bakery Bears. Let's see. I also watched, because I did finish. I haven't had much time to read either. I did a lot of sleeping during my downtime this week. But I also watched this funny little recap video. I'll put the name of the person, the YouTuber, on up here, because it was a funny little recap video of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And I had just finished the book, and I had seen this YouTube video and I had saved it so that I could watch it, because there are spoilers in the video, so don't watch it if you don't want any spoilers. And it just had to laugh out loud. Her opinion on this book, I share quite a bit of, and it just made me laugh. So I found that and watched that as well. I did start watching X-Files. You guys, you can watch this from the beginning. I never got into X-Files before. I was like, I feel like I'm missing everything. I don't understand it. And I know that the episodes are kind of supposed to be able to stand alone, but I could really feel that there was quite a bit of backstory and history there that I just wasn't getting. So I never got into X-Files because I hadn't watched it from the beginning. So now I can watch it from the beginning, and I love it. This is right up my alley. I love the premise. I love the story. So yeah, I've been watching X-Files. It's been fun. Let's see. So that's about it. I think as far as life goes, the visit with my dad and my stepmom was wonderful. We did lots of wonderful things. We did go see a live show called Iconic. And it's kind of like a musical variety show, and it was a lot of fun. Had a good time. So I would recommend that to anyone. And kids are free, which under 16, which is pretty great, especially with how much everything costs. It was kind of nice. So that was a good time. We went out to eat a lot. So had lots of great food. And some that you were like, okay. And then, let's see, we did do the sky wheel down at the beach. which I loved. It was a little cloudy. I wish it had been a sunny day because I would have loved to see the sun reflecting on the ocean, but it is what it is. I'll take what I can get. We did go to a car museum. Can't remember the name of the car museum. Wheels something or other. Not really my thing, but you know what? Sometimes you do things for other people, and it was fun. It was a good time. Saw some really cool classic cars. It was dumping rain that day, so we had to do something indoors. It was surprisingly cold this week. Where did spring go? What happened? And I know it was just because I was like, ooh, it's getting warm enough. I can go to the beach. Right. The weather showed me. It got cold. Not freezing or anything, but yeah, no real beach time. No. We did go for several walks. My dad and my son went fishing quite a bit. I went I went shopping with my stepmother. It's nothing to do with her or with the store. I had a fabulous experience. I don't like shopping for anything. I just really, well, maybe yarn. That would be the only thing, but I don't like shopping. I get a little bit anxious about the whole thing. I don't enjoy the experience at all. So it was fine. It went fairly well. My stepmom said, see, it wasn't so bad. I was like, I guess so, but I got pretty overwhelmed at some point. And she thought I was overwhelmed because of the amount of clothes. Just the whole thing. That many people talking to me, that many options, no thank you. I don't like shopping. I don't like it in person. I don't like it online. I don't like it. So, and then the highlight of the trip for me, beyond spending time with them, which was absolutely amazing. It just really made everything. But the highlight of the adventures that we took was going to Brook Green Gardens. We enjoyed ourselves. We walked around. We ended up getting tickets for the boat tour, which was phenomenal. First of all, you get to go on this little, basically, I think it's a pontoon boat through the rice fields. They give you a ton of history because Brook Green Gardens used to be a rice plantation. They give you a ton of history about how it was acquired, what happened there, the slavery that was going on there, how the rice fields were maintained, who lived there. It was just phenomenal. They did such a great job. They also offer a bus tour, which we didn't take because it is, they go on some bumpy roads that aren't really great for people with, they say, bad backs, which made me a little bit nervous. So we were traveling with my dad, my stepmom, and my mother-in-law, and all of them are getting up there in age and just didn't want to risk that. So I'm going to go back and go on the bus tour. I cannot wait for that because the boat tour was fabulous. The tour guide and the captain were great. We got to see alligators. We saw an osprey. We saw turtles. We saw herons. That's what I can think of off the top of my head. And there was just so much history that he was able to cram into that little boat ride. It was fabulous. And of course, I love the grounds anyway. I love Brook Green Gardens. I got some tea, which I'm really excited. I haven't tried because I just couldn't with how I was feeling. So I can't wait to try it. And we also got some rice that was apparently cultivated by the owner of the rice field of Brook Green Gardens when it was a rice field. However, they're not grown at, that rice is no longer grown at Brook Green Gardens. But anyway, we were going to try it. It's exciting. It's fun. So that was the big life stuff this week. Today is solar eclipse day. So I We do not get full coverage solar eclipse where we are, but it's pretty darn close. So I'm looking forward to it. We did not get the special glasses, so I will not be looking at the sun. I will be looking at the shadows to see the eclipse pass by, which I think is also magical in its own way. And yeah, so one of my kids will be out of school when it's at its peak. The other one, unfortunately, will just be kind of getting out of school. So he'll be riding the bus for it. But so yeah, we'll be enjoying that. And real life just kind of gets back into it. So, you know, I don't think I'll have as many life updates in the next future podcasts because we just live life, and maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I feel like this has gotten long enough, and I just happy knitting, happy gaming, happy making. I'm so excited to be here and be here with you, and thanks for watching. Bye.